Hey, this is Aiden himself, and today I'm going to do a Heartland Homicide video for you guys.
$1 a day. Plus, call 800-638-4717 or go to getahomeplan.com right now to get 2 months free. Don't wait. Call 800-638-4717. That's 800-638-4717. 800-638-4717.
Poshmark is the perfect side hustle. It got me through school, a new job, and getting into my first apartment. There's so much I can sell. Bags, accessories, home decor, and it's so easy to sell on Poshmark. You can do it in a minute. I love it.
Big city crimes hit small town America. Heartland Homicide. Next.
November 24th, 2001. On the outskirts of the small town of Enderby, British Columbia, Dirk and Audrey Rolfsema are settling down in their quiet, warm farmhouse after a long day's work out in the cold. But little do they know that the night will end in tragedy.
One quick look at this particular crime scene and you would think whoever did this did so in anger.
A close-knit community searches for answers as the hunt for a suspect gets underway.
Now they are on a timeline to make sure that they do not have a serial killer on their hands. Who was this individual that has done such a horrific event?
And as time drags on, one thing becomes clear.
Somebody knows this farm, whoever did this.
Nestled in the North Okanagan region of British Columbia, the small town of Enderby is one of the province's best-kept secrets. About 5.5 hours northeast of Vancouver, the charming community is home to approximately 2,900 residents, with most working in agriculture.
Everybody knows everybody. There's a Deep Creek Hall. Everybody went for Christmas concerts.
It's a small farming community. Everybody knows each other. Basically, we're all working hard on the farm.
Life in Enderby is considered low-key, far from big city pressures. Like most small towns, none of its residents want to believe that the worst could happen to them or one of their neighbors. However, violent crimes can happen anywhere, and Enderby, unfortunately, is no exception.
If you're looking at random homicides, typically the big cities, the large urban areas, have slightly higher rate because in a small town, everybody knows each other. The odds of having something like that happen are substantially diminished. But if we're talking about intimate partner relationships, domestic violence situations, the motivating factors when we're looking at homicides, they're the same. Things like jealousy and financial issues, those strong emotional responses to life events, they occur both in the big city and in the small towns.
48-year-old Dirk Rolfsema and his wife Audrey, 3 years his senior at 51, live on the outskirts of town, on a small farm in an idyllic area of the Okanagan.
The kids loved it. We always sent the kids out to the farm because that's where Dirk was running the farm and milking the cows. And they loved to be out there.
It's absolutely beautiful. I loved going there, loved the farm. If I had to, when my parents would go to the Okanagan, I'd ask to go to my uncle's because it was just always something that I love to do.
That farm operated very efficiently, and there was hard work and family, period. Everybody had their chores to do and things to do at the farm.
My brother's farmed since day one. Obviously, all of us as kids, we had to work hard because we lived on a dairy farm. Everything was manual labor. You work and you get up and you work.
After years of tireless days working on the family dairy farm, a couple sell their livestock, opting instead to look after llamas as they're ready for a new chapter in their lives, retirement.
My brother had the dairy farm. He took over the farm from my dad, and I worked for him, and we all pitched in for years, and he decided to retire.
Married only 5 years earlier, with no children and the first marriage for both, Dirk and Audrey find joy in the simpler things in life. Dirk enjoys camping, fishing, and anything involving the outdoors, while Audrey adores animals, playing cards with friends, spinning, and weaving.
Dirk and Audrey just got married a couple years prior to the incident, so she wasn't in our family for a long, long time.
Audrey often finds herself in the company of friends at the local Spinners and Weavers Club. Born in Vancouver, she grew up with 3 brothers and a passion for the outdoors. Later in life, she meets Dirk and moves to Deep Creek, just outside of Enderby, onto the Ralsima family farm. Here, her love of animals flourishes, as does her joy of knitting. Though retirement finds itself on the horizon, Dirk Ralsima can't help but continue to work long hours on the farm that's been in his family for over 50 years. A farm full of memories that he and his 2 brothers will cherish forever. Like any family, tensions sometimes run high between siblings, but the Ralsimas are otherwise a close group, one that always have each other's backs.
One of my favorite memories of my uncle is he'd come get us in his little red car, and in Armstrong and Deep Creek, the roads are like this, and he would just like gibber, and then he'd make your stomach go into your throat. And at Christmas, he would put on an amazing like hayride, like tractor and all that, and put hay bales on it, and he'd get everybody in the community. This is how small we were. And we would all go up in the bush and we'd sing and like have hot chocolate. He always made sure that us kids had an amazing time when we were there.
The Ralsima property features expansive farmland, too much for Dirk and Audrey to maintain on their own, so they rent out a portion to nearby neighbors who are also farmers. Not only does this provide Dirk and Audrey with income during the slower months, it also grants Dirk the opportunity to keep busy. He often finds himself at his neighbors, helping out around their farms where he can.
The one thing about Dirk is that they could count on him like clockwork. If he said he was going to be there, he'd be there, and they didn't have to worry about the job being done properly because he was very, very efficient in what he did. When it came to a question, if you had something, you go to Dirk and he'd find the solution for you. He was very smart.
The property also includes a small guest house, which the Ralsimas lease out to farmhands in need of a place to stay. With their last tenant moving out, the guest house is now ready to receive someone new.
He rented that out to a hired hand that worked for another farmer up above. And there's another farm that had quite a bit of cattle, so he used to be a hired hand for them. His name was Renee Tarian.
Dirk and Audrey's friends know that they can call on either of them if they ever find themselves in need. They're known in the community for their generosity and their easygoing personalities, which makes what happens the night of November 24th, 2001, even more disturbing than it already is.
I mean, when this all happened, everybody was locking their doors, right? Because they thought, what the heck, in Little Deep Creek, how can this be?
The day begins like any other. Dirk and Audrey go about their routines, tending to their guest house that's been sitting unoccupied since their previous tenant moved out several months before, all the while helping out their neighbors. As the sun sets and the darkness takes over, they retreat inside their home. They enjoy each other's company while winding down, ready to do it all again come morning. But the arrival of an unexpected visitor changes everything. And for Dirk and Audrey, the morning will never come. The winter days come and go, and life in Enderby continues on as though nothing's happened, because no one has any reason to believe otherwise. Friends and family spend a week calling the Ralsima household, but to no avail.
That whole week, my mom was supposed to get help from Audrey to go see a doctor, so she didn't tell. That was a Monday, I think, and she didn't tell me anything about it till about a Wednesday, and said that, Mr. Reimer, he said he couldn't believe, where was Dirk.
He was working for a farmer down the road, and he called and said that Dirk didn't show up. And I thought, well, that's not Dirk.
He doesn't, unless he's sick, but he will always make sure there's a phone call or something, and he's there. He's a very, very reliable person on farms.
It's one of those people that he says he's going to be there, he's going to be there. And anyway, he called, and basically, I knew there was weird, because it's usually on time.
They know how busy Dirk and Audrey can get, so everyone assumes the couple will reach out when they have a free moment. But that day never comes. The family asks a friend to go check on the house.
Go by the farm, and he says, well, the door's locked. And nobody locks their doors in Deep Creek. Everybody leaves their doors open, unless you're going away maybe for a few days.
It isn't until Dirk and Audrey fail to show for a dinner that one friend decides enough is enough. He goes to the farm and investigates for himself. Little does he know what he's about to witness.
Why is Navage perfect for allergies?
People who have allergies will have lots of problems. If someone's exposed to allergens, they can get rid of those immediately by washing out the nose. Navage works by pulling saline in one nostril, through the nose and out the other nostril, sucking out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs. Experience on-the-spot relief so you can breathe easier, sleep better, feel healthier. If you have seasonal allergies, Navage can help.
Available at major retailers or online at Navage.com.
Introducing the new Weight Watchers app. I've lost 60 pounds and I can still enjoy all of the foods that I love. Small changes lead to big results.
Weight Watchers' new app features can make your weight loss journey easier. So all you gotta do is you. Join Weight Watchers today.
Hey, I just got a text from my sister. You remember Rick, her neighbor?
Sure. He's the 76-year-old guy who still runs marathons, right?
Sadly, not anymore.
What? You mean...
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Wow. So sudden. We're not about to have the we need life insurance conversation again, are we?
No, we're having the we're getting coverage so we don't have to worry about it conversation.
So you're calling about the $9.95 a month plan from Colonial Penn?
I am. We put it off long enough. We are getting that $9.95 plan today.
Is it time for you to call about the $9.95 plan? I'm Jonathan from Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Sometimes we just need a reminder not to take today for granted. It could be the death of someone you know or a health scare. That's why today could be a great day to call for free information about Colonial Penn's $9.95 plan. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance starting at just $9.95 a month. There are no health questions, so you can't be turned down for any health reason. This is permanent coverage. Just pay your premiums for lifelong security. The $9.95 plan is Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life plan. Options start at just $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. Your rate can never go up. It's locked in for life. Don't put it off. Take the first easy step. Call today for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary plan. So call now.
Call 1-800-685-1515 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-685-1515. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-685-1515. 1-800-685-1515. Call now.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
They're thinking about their next adventure. You're thinking about their next vet visit. An ASPCA pet health insurance plan helps you afford the care they need. So while they're out living their best life, you can help make sure it's a long one.
Give your TV antenna an upgrade. Meet Tablo. Tablo lets you record, pause, and replay your favorites, and gives you access to more free channels you can't get with an antenna alone. Tablo connects to any TV antenna and your Wi-Fi, so you can watch on any device, anywhere in your home. Get it all with 0 monthly fees or contracts. Get your Tablo today at an incredible low price. Tablo. Pay once and watch forever. Order now at TabloTV.com or these popular retailers.
Enderby, British Columbia, a sleepy farming community nestled in the North Okanagan. While the small town's economy is driven by agriculture, The area still offers plenty of activities for lovers of the great outdoors, from snowmobiling and ice fishing in the winter to hiking the Enderby Cliffs and spending days on the beach during the summer. It's a place where everyone knows their neighbors, and that's no exception for Dirk and Audrey Rolfsema, a semi-retired farming couple. They live on the outskirts of town, near Deep Creek, and are well-liked by everyone they come in contact with. Audrey keeps her social calendar busy with the local knitting club, and Dirk spends his day working with the Deep Creek Farmers Institute.
You know, they're retired now, and Audrey had some llamas, and, you know, that was her thing, and a garden, and my brother did fishing and hiking and motorbiking, and, you know, it was kind of a daily routine, and have supper at 5 o'clock, and you finished, and watch the news, you know, it was a typical day in Deep Creek.
But on the night of November 24th, 2001, everything changes when an unexpected visitor comes by the farm and forces their way inside the Rolfsema's household. This is the last time anyone sees Dirk and Audrey alive. After the couple failed to show for a dinner, a close friend takes it upon himself to check in, horribly unaware of the discovery he's about to make. There, on the living room floor, he discovers the bodies of Dirk and Audrey Rolfsema. They've been bound by duct tape, shot, and stabbed. RCMP major crime units from Kelowna and Kamloops rush over. They immediately begin working together, assessing the vicious scene, making note of every piece of evidence, no matter how big or small.
When a detective or an investigator first arrives at a crime scene, the first thing they really want to do is take an overall view of what's been going on, what looks like it's out of place. Immediate things that are seen are obviously, you know, if there's blood, where that blood is located, are there any broken windows, point of entry or point of exit may be obvious, you know, like the door has been kicked in.
When forensic specialists come to the scene, they're looking for sort of a definitive timeline. When did this all occur? Lividity, rigor mortis, and decomposition do play into effect and give us sort of a timeline or a clock to say how long an individual has been deceased at a scene. And in this case, it was approximately 1 week to be November the 24th.
On the floor, Derek Rolfsema was covered with a blanket. He had been shot, and there was evidence that a knife was also involved. Derek's brother, Barry, is brought in to help officers determine exactly what might have been missing or out of place in the home.
They asked me if I could come to the house and look around and see what I see, and the carpet was already ripped up, but it was all a blood stain all over the place. And so I looked around, and obviously I could see that this happened just after dinner, because there was dishes that were washed but just put in a sitting there still drying on their own, and I noticed that the butcher knives were all gone. So I go look around the farm. Somebody took gas out of the fuel tank that we have there and left the hose hanging there. I could see the tracks going from our neighbor's farm over to there, and you could see how the grass, I went like this with the snow and looked at it, all the grass was pushed one way. I told the police, look at this.
As the crime scene begins to reveal its secrets, investigators also discover that the bodies have been doused in gasoline, and that a curling iron is plugged in nearby with a piece of fabric placed on top of it. The curling iron was connected to a timer, which was intentionally set to turn on at a future time. They can only assume that the assailant or assailants meant to burn the house down after the slayings, but that the curling iron's failsafe prevented that plan from materializing.
And, you know, of course, he's trying to, you know, say he's in another place when it burned down, but it never did burn down. I guess it just doesn't work.
If that house had burned down, it wouldn't be a real tough time for the police department to get any evidence.
Due to the fact that a firearm was involved, there were several shells that were found on the floor.
In brutal murders like this one, you have to wonder whether or not it's premeditated or if it was really just a crime of passion.
At the time looking at it, I don't see any major things taken. To me, looking around, I didn't see, you know, the TVs weren't missing, or, you know, the major appliances of any sort that was missing. That was my first comment. Somebody knows this farm, whoever did this.
Investigators also find that Audrey's car is missing. They believe the perpetrator could have taken it and immediately put out the word for the community to keep their eyes open, without alerting them to the crime that's been committed.
they told us the car was missing. Would you know where the car is? And we said, well, we really don't know. We don't. Obviously, those two are in the house, so somebody else took the car. I'm assuming whoever did the homicide, right? Killed two people to steal a Honda Civic. That's not logical to me, you know.
For specific reasons, police often have to play their cards close to their chest.
Police can't give very much information. They don't want to give anything out because obviously that inhibits their investigation.
Investigators very often will not reveal all the information that's known to them about the crime or even about the suspect. Very often the purpose of this is to be able to gauge whether somebody is telling the truth about what happened. If they're a witness or if they happen to be dealing with the suspect, one would presume only the suspect would know certain things about the crime scene. So that holdback information, as it's known, is a tool that investigators use to determine whether a witness is reliable or whether a suspect may be telling the truth.
Authorities notify family and lifelong friends with the tragic news. It tears through those closest to Dirk and Audrey like a hurricane, ripping them apart.
I got a phone call from my brother-in-law, Barry Rosima, and basically he told me because he didn't want to tell his sister directly, so I got word of what happened there at the farm. And it was so shocking because we knew the couple. We couldn't figure out who possibly would want to murder a couple like that. And it just blew us away. So I told my wife, of course, then she was thrown into a loop because it was her older brother that just was shot. His wife, the sad part of the whole picture was Audrey came into Dirk's life late. Like they hadn't been together all that long and they're just starting to really enjoy themselves. Like they're starting to get out and do things and camp and travel. They were robbed of a life, a good life.
I think one of the most difficult things that any police officer can do is notify a family that a loved one has died. It becomes even more difficult to try to explain to them that their life was taken, that they were murdered, and it wasn't just some accident. For every family, obviously, the shock of hearing the news, most people aren't able to comprehend exactly what's being said in that moment. It doesn't take long before they start to ask a lot of questions. Very often those questions can't be answered by the person making the notification. It's just too early on in the investigation.
You only hear about this in the big cities, right? You don't see this in the smaller towns.
But word spreads quickly about the murders, causing the town to immediately fear the worst. Could there be a killer on the loose in Enderby?
Who would do this? Was it a robbery that went wrong? Or because we can't think any other reason, and what it did do, it threw the whole valley, Deep Creek Valley, upside down because everybody was locking their doors all of a sudden from a community that basically didn't have to worry about that. They didn't know if they had a serial killer in the loose.
It's not unusual for there to be a lot of fear amongst members of the community, particularly in a small town where these types of events are not routinely seen. So the fact that they'd be worried that they may be in danger, that's a perfectly natural response. So making an effort to let everybody know that they are not in danger, that this was likely a targeted event and it wasn't just a random crime, would it help to alleviate some of those fears. But ultimately, the best thing is to locate the suspect, make an arrest. That would certainly reassure the community that the police are looking after their best interests.
You know, the police said it's not just a random act of somebody just going in a house and killing two people. Basically, it's targeted. So that, helped a lot of people. But
everybody was really scared. They were shocked. They were scared. People had baseball bats by their door and by their beds, and just not knowing, why. They were a nice couple.
Also, when you think of the family and what they're going through, having somebody arrested and held accountable for the death of their family member, that goes a long way in bringing closure for the family, which is very often difficult to come by.
Police reassure the frightened community that there's no danger to them. They believe this is an isolated incident. However, that's all the information they give, other than the notice to look out for Audrey's black car. They believe the vehicle could be the key to solving the case.
We're all looking for the car because they needed the car basically for DNA evidence, I'm assuming,
Large searches are done by search and rescue and by teams to try to locate that vehicle within the immediate area.
Search and rescue had a big day of doing that, and we went all over Deep Creek to go look for it, and unsuccessful, of course.
As local and provincial authorities work together to track down a suspect, the town and its surrounding neighbors hold a service of remembrance at a local chapel, where many friends and mourners gather to remember Dirk and Audrey as they once were. The generous, free-spirited couple with a love for the outdoors and for their friends and family. Months pass. The families of both Dirk and Audrey wait for a break in the case. A suspect, the discovery of Audrey's car, anything, but nothing is found, and police remain silent.
They leave you out there. They can't give you any information. We understand all that. So, of course, they got leads all over the place. So they're following all these leads, and they're trying to do their thing.
We're left out the outside of it while the police did their investigations. People had all kinds of ideas where it's going to happen because people they're scared. Because this a valley like that never had anything happen like that, all of a sudden gets thrown into this where it's a double homicide. Not just an accidental one, a brutal one.
All seems lost until a fragment of DNA is pulled from the duct tape recovered at the scene. Tests show that it doesn't belong to Dirk or Audrey. It belongs to someone else. But there's a problem. Police have no immediate suspects.
The important factor is now that they're on a timeline to make sure that they do not have a serial killer on their hands, is that who was this individual that has done such a horrific event to these two victims?
We don't know exactly who it is. I mean, you're always looking because we didn't know anything about Audrey's past. Because they married kind of late in life, and so does she have a past? That was the only thing that I did not know.
Forensics needs to find a DNA match.
If you have Medicare, this important message is for you. There is now high-quality complete health care available right in your neighborhood that specializes in top-quality care for older adults on Medicare at no extra cost to you. Don't wait until a new health problem gets serious. They are accepting new patients right now. The doctors take the time to get to know you, understand your personal health issues, and answer all your health questions. Plus, there are same-day appointments, on-site lab work, and a 24/7 live patient support line. And if you're on Medicare, there's no extra cost for you. Just call 800-972-3907 right now.
If I hadn't called and set that appointment, I don't know what my health would be like today. They got out in front of it and kept me out of the hospital. I can tell you that.
This outstanding care for older adults on Medicare is available at Oak Street Health, and they are accepting new patients now. Call 800-972-3907 now. It's fast and easy. And if you're on Medicare, there's no extra cost for you. Don't wait. Call now. 800-972-3907. 800-972-3907. If you have Medicare, this important message is for you. There is now high-quality, complete health care available right in your neighborhood that specializes in top-quality care for older adults on Medicare at no extra cost. They are accepting new patients right now. The doctors take the time to get to know you, understand your personal health, and answer all your questions. Plus, there's same-day appointments, on-site lab work, and a 24/7 live patient support line. And if you're on Medicare, there's no extra cost for you. Just call 800-972-3907.
I get there and I'm thinking, typical doctor's office. I'm going to be here 20 or 30 minutes before I even get to see the doctor. Then less than 5 minutes later, this doctor comes out to get me and says, "Hope you didn't have to wait too long." And that blew my mind.
This outstanding care for older adults on Medicare is available at Oak Street Health, and they are accepting new patients now. Call 800-972-3907 now. It's fast and easy. And if you're on Medicare, there's no extra cost, so call now. 800-972-3907. 800-972-3907. If you have Medicare, this important message is for you. There is now high-quality complete health care available right in your neighborhood that specializes in top-quality care for older adults on Medicare at no extra cost to you. Don't wait until a new health problem gets serious. They are accepting new patients right now. The doctors take the time to get to know you, understand your personal health issues, and answer all your health questions. Plus, there are same-day appointments, on-site lab work, and a 24/7 live patient support line. And if you're on Medicare, there's no extra cost for you. Just call 800-972-3907 right now.
I walked out of there when my visit was over, and I thought, what took somebody so long to come up with this kind of health care for seniors?
This outstanding care for older adults on Medicare is available at Oak Street Health, and they are accepting new patients now. Call 800-972-3907 now. It's fast and easy. And if you're on Medicare, there's no extra cost for you. Don't wait. Call now. 800-972-3907. 800-972-3907.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
December 2nd, 2001. Family and friends of farming couple Dirk and Audrey Rolfsema haven't heard from them in over a week, something that is out of character for the neighborly husband and wife. After the couple failed to show for a dinner, a close friend takes it upon himself to check in, horribly unaware of the discovery he's about to make. Inside the house, he finds the lifeless bodies of Dirk and Audrey. They've been bound by duct tape, shot, stabbed, and doused in gasoline. The investigation begins, but with zero suspects, no motives, and few clues, police find themselves grasping at straws. That is, until a small fragment of DNA evidence is pulled from the duct tape used to bind the couple. Tests reveal that the DNA doesn't match Dirk or Audrey, but someone else. Someone police have yet to identify.
DNA is very unique to an individual, and when it is obtained as evidence, there is very little margin of error matching it to a suspect.
Armed with this evidence, RCMP narrow down their list of several persons of interest and bring in Dirk's older brother, Kurt, for questioning. Considered the black sheep of the family, Dirk's eldest brother is high on the list of potential suspects.
It's usually the family and friends or acquaintances are the ones that do the murders, and 80 or 90% is the way it is. We're all suspects, of course, which makes sense.
Is it possible that family is behind this vicious double homicide? And could the slayings be financially motivated?
Early years, he was drinking and driving, and I think he was with some wrong people and whatnot. But, you know, he was a black sheep. He was always doing things like when he was at the farm, he would never help us with haying because he had other things he'd like to do. So
anyway, he wasn't willing to give his DNA, so of course the ears perk up more for the police to say, why won't you give the DNA?
Dirk's family grant police permission to speak with Dirk and Audrey's bank. From there, investigators are able to see if any of the Rolfsema's bank cards have been used in the past week. Shockingly, the answer is yes. The investigation team went to businesses along the main Highway 97 to collect possible evidence that may be on video surveillance. Ultimately, it did pay dividends.
Audrey's bank card was used at an ATM, and the ATM surveillance camera was able to capture images of a person who used the card. Now, the picture that was captured wasn't the greatest quality, but it does reveal it's a male wearing a mask.
And my brother gave the wrong PIN number out. Audrey did not, by the way.
Got her to give him the big PIN number and went down to Armstrong and tried to pull out money with this weird mask looking thing on his face.
Following the trail of the bank cards, investigators also uncover surveillance footage from a nearby convenience store. Shortly after Audrey's bank card is used at an ATM in the early morning hours of November 25th, her credit card is also used. Authorities immediately search the footage and find a man who they believe to be a potential suspect. However, one thing is for certain in reviewing the footage. The man is not Kurt Rolfsema, confirmed by the fact that this time the individual was not wearing a mask. Still, Kurt agrees to provide a DNA sample to prove without a doubt that he has nothing to do with the violent crime. The results are negative. Kurt Rolfsema is cleared as a suspect. Investigators move down their list of possible suspects, starting with Dirk's neighbor. They question him about his rental of Dirk's land and if he noticed anything suspicious in the days leading up to the double homicide. He says he hasn't. It seems like another dead end, until authorities bring up a rumor that's been floating around town, one that could be damning if true. The rumor claims that the farmer has been approached by a biker gang, and that the gang is interested in using the Rolfsema land for an illegal marijuana grow-up.
At the time we were looking at this crime, marijuana was illegal in the province of British Columbia. So criminal gangs found, a number of ways to be able to grow the product in order to continue their criminal enterprises. So they were pretty ingenious in the sense that because of British Columbia's climate, they're able to actually grow the crops outdoors and hide them in farmers' fields amongst other crops, making it very difficult for law enforcement to detect.
Maybe Dirk had gone into the bush. He liked cutting his own firewood and bringing it down to the farm because he burned a lot of wood through the house. That maybe he had seen something. This is the only thing we could think of. That he had seen something to do with illegal marijuana grow-ops or something that he had seen, and someone had seen him being there and come back to deal with it, so he would silence him. That's the only thing we could think of.
Could a gang have visited the Ralsima home on the night of November 24th, 2001, with the intent of coercing the couple into signing over their land? Or did Dirk's neighbor approach him about the deal, but Dirk refused, leading the gang to seek retribution?
We heard all kinds of crazy stories, and those people do not want to create heat. They don't want the police. They do not want to be murdering people because the police will come down on them.
There was people pointing fingers at everybody else because that's all they could do, because no one knew the actual answers of what was taking place. So they point fingers because they just want it solved. They want their small Deep Creek town to go back to the way it was.
Dirk's neighbor denies any involvement in the crime and the rumor about the biker gang. With no solid evidence to back the claim up, investigators find themselves back at the drawing board. That is, until the neighbor mentions one other person worth looking into. Someone who left the Ralsima farm on bad terms. Someone with a grudge against Dirk. Dirk and Audrey's former tenant, Renee Therian.
What you doing?
Just buying a car on Carvana. I already got pre-qualified in 2 minutes.
Say what?
I can customize my terms.
Say what?
Yep. My car's getting delivered in a couple days.
Delivered?
Mm-hmm.
Where we live?
Finance and buy your car with Carvana today.
When you use Ibotta, there's a 100% chance of cashback.
Hello?
Hey, yo! At offers, shop, and watch the money pour in.
There's money falling from the sky.
Ibotta, make it rain every time you shop.
Waiting till Friday to get paid is tricky. I'm a music teacher who plays gigs, and I need to get paid before the weekend to rent equipment, or else I have to cancel. With Chime, I get paid 2 days early with no fees. Now I can make every weekend gig. Join me at Chime.com.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Woo! Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we've probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age metal housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. If you're someone that doesn't need all that mumbo-jumbo and just wants something simple. And now, we even have watches.
We do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our SmartFlex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty. So you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over or add a line for $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
You see that tower out there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
New customers who buy any phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st. Call 800-311-5340 or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
I have bad bunions. Wish they'd disappear. Sup, future me. And no buttons. How?
Lapiplasty corrects bunions at the source, meaning you're back in sneakers in weeks. Weeks! The future of bunion surgery is here. Learn more at lapiplasty.com. Risks include infection, pain, and loss of correction.
When Dirk and Audrey Ralsima's bodies are discovered in their British Columbia home, friends, family, and investigators are baffled. The couple have no known enemies, no one who wants to do them harm. They live in a small town and enjoy small comforts, including their llamas and their love of the outdoors. So who is behind this heinous crime, and what could possibly be the motive? One possible theory involves a biker gang rumored to want to occupy some of Dirk's farmland for an illegal marijuana grow-op. However, Dirk's neighbor, who leases the land, tells police there's no truth to that statement. With a lack of evidence, no positive matches to the DNA sample found at the scene, or any leads into where Audrey's stolen vehicle may be, the investigation nears a standstill, until the neighbor points authorities to a suspect who's been under their noses all along. Dirk and Audrey rent the small guest house on their property to farmhands, which at one time included their former employee, 32-year-old Quebec native Renee Therian. While the local farmers know who he is, Therian is someone new to police. Armed with a DNA sample and some surveillance footage from a convenience store, they begin canvassing the area with hope of finding Therian and positively identifying him. An officer at the Salmon Arm RCMP detachment looks at the image and immediately identifies him as an acquaintance from the French-Canadian community. She IDs him as Renee Therian. Investigators now have their main suspect. They confirm with Dirk's brother Barry that Therian is indeed the former tenant of Dirk and Audrey's, and that the two had an argument months before over an incident with the guest house freezing over, leading to Therian's eviction from the Ralsima farm.
We heard it. As when Dirk was coming down the lane, he noticed the windows were fogged up. So he thought, he phoned the farmer above to find out where Renee was. And he said, well, he's not here. He's on holiday. He's down in Quebec with his family. So Dirk went in to check it out, and it was low on furnace oil, so he basically topped it up. And the pipes luckily didn't freeze.
He has the right of doing this, obviously, because everything's frozen. I mean, but when Renee came back, he was so mad at my brother for doing this.
He was quite upset that Dirk had gone into the property without his permission, which in one way it's Dirk's property, so he has the right to go in there if something is wrong.
And Renee and my brother, ever since that day, according to Audrey, that, they never got along very well after that, from that day on.
But is their argument heated enough to result in murder? Police also learn that Therian owns a unique-looking firearm that many neighbors have seen during his time working in the area.
Well, it was a special gun. There was only I believe there's only 5 or 6 in Canada. And the gun was very rare. And they tracked this gun to the previous owner. The previous owner sold it to Renee.
It was a Calico, and it was a semi-automatic rifle. But I don't know whether he hunted, but why he would want to have a gun like that in the first place is questionable. But that's what took out Dirk and Audrey, put them in the ground.
Police are quick to see if the casings retrieved at the crime scene match the ammunition from this weapon. It turns out that this Calico rifle's firing pin produces distinct markings on the shell.
Shell casings that were obtained as evidence at the scene were assessed by a ballistic expert, and they were found to have unique patterns on them. And from those unique patterns, they matched a gun that was owned by the suspect.
Police bring Renee in for questioning. He admits that he and Dirk had an altercation that led to Renee being evicted from the Ralsima farm several months earlier, but he denies any involvement in the murders. Still building their case against him, police allow Therian to leave, but not without taking a DNA sample.
There's a very different environment when you are obtaining a DNA sample for evidence or a DNA sample just from an individual that has participated willingly. A DNA sample at a scene is done by a forensic expert who does a very meticulous process in obtaining that sample. When you are obtaining a sample from a willing participant of a DNA, you could just as simply have them open up their mouth, and you can take a sterile swab and just swirl it around their cheek, and there you have it. You've obtained a sample of their DNA.
The forensics team compares the unknown DNA sample taken from the crime scene to Renee Therian's. Much to their surprise, it's a perfect match.
Even though the investigators in this case have some substantial evidence and there are a number of very good witnesses, their prime focus at this time is making sure that they've covered everything. They don't want a possible piece of information to come up after the fact that may derail the prosecution. They want to ensure that there's no doubt whatsoever that this person is guilty of the offense.
The fact is, there are still lingering doubts about the true motive of the crime.
I can't see how someone could brutally murder 2 people over a conflict of a rental. It's just too much for me to deal with. So I knew there had to be something else involved in this.
A lot of people think there's another person involved.
As concrete as the evidence against Therian may seem, His arrest at this time may still be premature if authorities suspect he may have been acting on the orders of another. Therefore, they may want to keep him under surveillance to gather additional evidence. Further raising suspicion, Syrian suddenly leaves his well-paying job and moves back to his home province of Quebec.
Rene quits his job, and he's gone. He's leaving already. Like, he's on the run, as far as I'm concerned.
Though he now lives in a different province, investigators secretly move in on Syrian. Over the next year and a half, authorities from British Columbia and Quebec work together on an undercover sting, also known as Mr. Big, to try and capture a confession from their prime suspect and possible information of anyone else involved.
The idea of a Mr. Big operation involves multiple undercover police officers posing as potential criminals, and they try to entice the suspect into joining their criminal organization. And part of the evolution of these operations is to get this suspect to confess to something that they may have done, either to impress Mr. Big, the leader of the criminal organization, or as a way of convincing that person that they can be trustworthy. So very often, Mr. Big would demand that the suspect reveal details of something that they have done, that they have heard through rumors, for example, and try to get a confession. Now, all this would be recorded by the undercover operators who are, in and amongst this supposed criminal organization. They would then have to convince a court that they obtained this information legally.
The operation fails to lead to revelations of an additional suspect. However, Syrian does admit to Mr. Big his personal connection in the killing. In October 2003, Syrian returns to British Columbia and leads investigators posing as criminals to Audrey's missing vehicle, which he dumped down an embankment not far from the Rolfsema property. The discovery is a major piece of the puzzle. Lodged under a tree, it was basically hidden from aerial view or even view from the road.
That car was maybe half a kilometer from the rescue center of where it was, and we drove right by it. But because this car was black and he went over the ravine a little bit, the black car we never spotted it. I mean, we were out there with snowmobiles, so very close to the farm. I mean, 3 miles away. He basically, in the big sting operation, said where the vehicle was, everything. I mean, he's got DNA on him. They got everything. Yes.
Finally, on October 3rd, 2003, more than 2 years after the brutal slayings of Dirk and Audrey Rolfsema, Rene Therian is arrested at a gas station in Kelowna, British Columbia. Authorities quickly interrogate Therian one final time to corroborate his version of events, and the results are the same. He confesses to the murders of Dirk and Audrey, and is formally charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
First-degree murder is generally a murder where there's some evidence of premeditation or planning. In Canada, first-degree murder carries a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole for 25 years.
Poshmark is the perfect side hustle. There's so much I can sell. Bags, clothes, and even electronics. It's so easy. I can list in 60 seconds or less. I can't imagine a better side hustle.
This is Bella. Bella can do a lot on her own, but she can't get first-rate pet insurance without you. Sign up for ASPCA Pet Health Insurance today to protect the ones you love.
Hey, I just got a text from my sister. You remember Rick, her neighbor?
Sure. He's the 76-year-old guy who still runs marathons, right?
Sadly, not anymore.
What? You mean...
Just like that.
Wow. So sudden. We're not about to have the we need life insurance conversation again, are we?
No, we're having the we're getting coverage so we don't have to worry about it conversation.
So you're calling about the $9.95 a month plan from Colonial Penn?
I am. We put it off long enough. We are getting that $9.95 plan today.
Is it time for you to call about the $9.95 plan? I'm Jonathan from Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Sometimes we just need a reminder not to take today for granted. It could be the death of someone you know or a health scare. That's why today could be a great day to call for free information about Colonial Penn's $9.95 plan. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance starting at just $9.95 a month. There are no health questions, so you can't be turned down for any health reason. permanent coverage. Just pay your premiums for lifelong security. The 995 plan is Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life plan. Options start at just $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. Your rate can never go up. It's locked in for life. Don't put it off. Take the first easy step. Call today for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary plan. So call now.
Call 1-800-685-1515 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-685-1515. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-685-1515. 1-800-685-1515. Call now.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
Watch this. Witness what happens to this woman's bags under her eyes in an actual time lapse in just minutes. The problem will disappear before your eyes with a revolutionary topical formulation that works in just minutes, and the effects will last for hours. Over 1 million people are using this topical technique to visually reduce puffiness and bags, even fine lines and wrinkles on the face and forehead. Introducing Plexiderm. Jump on board and say yes to this amazing $14.95 Plexiderm trial. Order right now. We'll pay your shipping.
One slip up. Expose their deadly secrets. Investigate the key downfalls.
The stupid things that this man did.
Of the most ruthless criminals. A killer's mistake. Next on True Crime Network.
With Renee Syrian now in custody for confessing to the murder, the case seems to be on track. However, a possible slip from the police department threatens to derail the years of investigative and undercover work that's brought everyone to this moment. Syrian's lawyers argue that their client is pressured into confessing, and that his confession breaches his charter rights because police did not give him a meaningful opportunity to retain French-speaking counsel.
Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms forms a part of the Canadian Constitution, and it guarantees everyone accused of a crime upon arrest the right to instruct and receive advice from counsel as soon as possible. If René Thérien requests a French lawyer because his first language is French and he doesn't get that opportunity, his charter rights could be impinged on, and his statement could therefore be inadmissible.
The court has to rule before the actual hearing on whether or not the case can proceed in what's called a voir dire.
A voir dire is a trial within a trial. So often what voir dires are focused on is the admissibility of evidence. So what we're dealing with here is a voir dire to determine whether or not René Thérien's statement is admissible in court. That's a separate ruling made by a judge. So even in a trial where there is a jury, the jury is excluded from the courtroom and not present during a voir dire.
Luckily, the court rules in the police's favor. Thérien's confession can be submitted as evidence against him. In 2006, during the second week of his trial, René Thérien pleads guilty to murdering Dirk and Audrey Rolfsema. The charges against him are lessened to second-degree murder. He's sentenced to life in prison without eligibility of parole for 18 years. However, at the time of filming, it's reported that the courts have deemed Thérien eligible for parole.
Well, I'm very disgusted in the parole board. You don't know until you go through this. Yes, they got all these rules, but you know what? The criminal has all the rights. The victims have no rights, as far as I'm concerned.
Before he goes out on parole, it was like a year early, they started him. And, just not knowing anything and not getting help with how everything works was really difficult for us.
Like, he is now out of jail in Canada. They released him as of November the 4th. And what I found there is the fact that I read the documentation. I think they've dropped the ball on this one. They're really disappointed with the prison system. The reason why is I saw that a year ago, he still had an issue with control. And that's what got him in trouble in the first place, is he felt Dirk was controlling him. And he had an issue with one of his counselors. So instead of making him deal with that counselor, they gave him another one. And to me, that's wrong.
Though the outcome of this senseless tragedy remains open-ended, the town of Enderby and its neighbors have persevered.
I think more people lock their doors now, for sure, where they never did before.
Adding to the sense of unease is the nagging feeling that the true reason for the crime is still unproven.
We really never did get a motive. And he even said himself, he doesn't really know why. Something really strange bothers us still, my wife and I both, is every time they're talking about Dirk and this and that and some other people, he comes up, did my boss buy the land? I'm going, Why would he be questioning, did my boss buy the land? Like they knew the farm was available because Dirk was gone, Audrey were gone. But we still think there's a problem there because the fact that something we don't know about is when someone's being charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, he's more concerned of who's buying the property than dealing with what he's done. So I don't know.
Is there someone else out there who's eluded ultimate responsibility?
I cannot say it over the camera, but the guy knows who he is. Renee's coming for you. He's out. The parole board said he can't leave Quebec, but the police said he couldn't murder 2 people. He's coming for you.
Dirk and Audrey touched the lives of many in the small community.
One thing that Dirk did all the time was he made sure that me and my brother had an amazing time when we went there. And Audrey, she was amazing at what she did with the llama wool and all of that, and making sure that we always felt welcome.
Their friends, their families, their neighbors all keep the couple alive in their memories, as well as in their hearts.
Iconic supermodel Cindy Crawford has mesmerized us with her ageless beauty. Now, at 58 years old, she just keeps getting better. What's the secret to her glowing, youthful skin? It's Meaningful Beauty.
This is our 20th anniversary of Meaningful Beauty.
Today, more than 5 million women have trusted their skin to Meaningful Beauty, and you're invited to join the party.
I've been using Meaningful Beauty for 15 years.
12 years.
Who's been using it the longest?
17 years.
17? A lot of women will try a product once, but when you get repeat customers, that means it works, and that means they love it as much as I do.
I can sum it up in one word: hydration. Soft, glowy, smooth, magical. I love to smile. Meaningful Beauty makes my skin smile.
I'm proud and I feel honored that people trust me enough to try it the first time, and then when they stick with it because they're getting great results, that makes me feel amazing.
20 years ago, Cindy Crawford shared her exclusive access to world-renowned cosmetic specialist, Dr. Jean-Louis Sabat. He developed Meaningful Beauty especially for her. These cutting-edge formulas include super antioxidants from a genetically rare melon in the south of France. The ordinary melon wrinkles, ages, and decays, while Dr. Sabat's melon stays fresh and firm. Now there's really big news, because Dr. Sabat has made Cindy's favorite Meaningful Beauty system even better.
I'm outside of Dr. Sabat's brand new, beautiful clinic, and I can't wait to go inside.
Hello!
So what I'm most excited about with Meaningful Beauty is we just never stand still.
It was really ahead of the time, and we're still ahead of our time because we have new advanced products. I don't think our customers realize how much science there is behind Meaningful Beauty.
Dr. Sabat's pioneering science has made Meaningful Beauty even more advanced because it's designed to deliver our melon leaf stem cell technology and other essential ingredients deeper into the skin.
You wake up and your face looks youthful, and I'm a new person.
Now it's your turn to see what Meaningful Beauty can do for you. Start with Cindy's Skin Softening Cleanser. You'll love how it refreshes and hydrates as it cleans away impurities and makeup without sulfates. Next, get that luminous glow with our anti-aging day cream. With broad-spectrum SPF 30, this vanishing formula is designed to nourish while it protects your skin from the sun.
I love the day cream. It's super hydrating on my skin. It's protecting my skin. It also is tightening my skin.
Now, it's Cindy's Lifting Eye Cream that reduces the appearance of puffiness, dark circles, and crow's feet. And it's the all-new Age Recovery Night Cream, reformulated with our exclusive Retinol, a unique complex of melon super antioxidants that boosts your skin's resilience for effective yet gentle results.
Even though the ingredients in this are super effective and you will get great results and you will wake up with beautiful looking skin, it is gentle enough to use even on the most delicate of skin.
And listen to this. Our new and improved youth activating melon serum now includes the ultrafine bubbles of Hydrosome H2O. This patented technology is designed to deliver our melon leaf stem cell technology and other essential ingredients deeper into the skin, so it looks plumper, firmer, and brighter.
Meaningful Beauty helps restore the look of your skin because it has all the ingredients you need to restore and to protect your skin.
Dr. Sabat's clients often pay hundreds to thousands of dollars for his treatments. So getting his extraordinary Meaningful Beauty formulas for $179 when purchased separately is already an incredible bargain. Because Cindy is offering Meaningful Beauty directly to you, you won't pay $179 or $139 or even $99. Order now and you'll pay just $69.95. And to thank you for your order, we'll send you Cindy's Super Brightening Duo, a $120 value, free, with Cindy's favorite Revive and Brighten eye masks and the luxurious new Vitamin C Biphase Brightening Oil. All of this is valued at over $300. Yours now for just $69.95. Act now and use promo code SAVE10 and get another $10 off while supplies last. You'll pay just $59.95 for all this, plus free shipping. And your order always comes with our 60-day money-back guarantee.
Meaningful Beauty is about helping women feel confident in their skin and letting their true beauty shine through.
This special offer is not available in any store, so scan the code, call, or go to meaningfulbeauty.com right now.
One slip up, expose their deadly secrets. A killer's mistake. Next